Hello, boys and girls. Happy Thanksgiving to you. I hope you have a good Thanksgiving and an enjoyable meal. I got my chicken right here and my pumpkin pie ready to eat. So I am happy. Now, do you remember that parable that Jesus told about the king? That was the parable, the story that he told about the king who forgave the debt of all of his servants. And the story that Jesus told was about how God is forgiving to us, and so we should also forgive one another. Now, today we're going to hear another parable. This story is about a king as well. Only in this story, the king is ready to have a big feast for his son. Kind of like the feast we have on Thanksgiving with turkey and all sorts of good treats, pumpkin pie. What kind of things are you eating this Thanksgiving? Are you having pumpkin pie? Are you having turkey or chicken? This is chicken right here, but you might be having turkey. What other things are you having this weekend? You can comment below and tell me what you're having for Thanksgiving. Anyways, back to the parable. The king had already sent out the invitations to this wedding feast, and it was time then to bring everyone to the palace to eat lots of good food and to celebrate. But nobody showed up. So he said, forget about them. They don't get to eat my good food. And instead he invited strangers into the feast. Somebody had to eat the food, right? And so he invites strangers. Now let me read this story from the Bible for you so we get all the details of this parable, this story that Jesus tells. This is from Matthew chapter 22, and it says, Jesus used stories to tell other things to people. He said, the kingdom of heaven is like a king who prepared a wedding feast for his son. The king invited some people to the feast, and when the feast was ready, the king sent servants to tell the people to come, but they refused to come to the feast. Then the king sent other servants. He said to them, tell those who have been invited that my feast is ready. I have killed my best bulls and calves for the dinner. Everything is ready, so come to the wedding feast. But the people refused to listen to the servants. They went to do other things instead. One went to work in his field, and another went to his business. Some of the other people grabbed the servants and beat them and killed them. The king was then very angry, and he sent his army to kill the people who had killed his servants, and the army burned their city. Now after that, the king said to his servants, the wedding feast is ready. I invited those people, but they were not worthy to come. So go to the street corners and invite everyone that you see. Tell them to come to my feast. So the servants went out into the streets, and they gathered all the people that they could find, both good and bad, and the wedding hall was filled with guests. Now, what does this story mean? Well, Jesus invites all people to believe in him, just like the king ended up inviting everyone that he could find and anyone that he could find. Some people are not willing to believe in Jesus, just like the people in the story who do not come to the wedding celebration or the wedding feast. Jesus still invites even the good and the bad people, whoever he can find, to believe in him and be forgiven. This wedding feast in the story is like heaven. Jesus invites us to heaven, which will be full of happiness and joy, just like a wedding celebration would be, or maybe just like your Thanksgiving meal this weekend. I hope that you had a great Thanksgiving and that your Thanksgiving was full of joy and happiness and great food. And I want you to know that heaven will be just the same. It'll be full of joy and love and great food, of course. So, I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. Again, I'll see you next week. God's blessings to you. I'm going to have a piece of my pumpkin pie now, and I even brought some whipped cream with me. The easy kind that I can just spray out And I'll just put it on my plate here. Well, that should be enough whipped cream. Tasty. God is good. See you next week.